everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, all of you as per your time zones. I'm Vinita Patare, Manager Recruitment and Support at MSM Unify. It gives me immense pleasure to extend you a very warm welcome on behalf of MSM Unify and Shorelight. Today, we all have gathered here to discuss about two very important topics, that is post-admission confirmation process in USA and the importance of early visa appointments. For people who have joined the webinar with the MSM for first time, a short introduction about MSM Unify. MSM Unify is an international education marketplace that connects international students with higher education institutions and recruiting partners worldwide. We transform the international education sector with power of technology and innovation, serving all industry stakeholders at the highest quality and innovative thinking. We innovate, create the extraordinary. Today we have Ms. Carmen Atkinson. She is a Global Director, Partnership Development at Shorelight, and she has almost 9 years of experience with Shorelight. Carmen, would you like to take over?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everybody. I am delighted to be with all of you today. As Vinita said, I'm Carmen Atkinson, and I'm the Global Director for Partnerships Development with Shorelight. Being with them almost 9 years allows me to really tell the story of what a wonderful company it is, because what we do is partner with the best possible partners around the world in order to get the best success with our students. And the best success is to give them a signature experience throughout all the process, and most importantly, for our students to graduate successfully. So that is the aim and the goal of Shorelight. And also we are enlarging our portfolio of universities every month. So we are enlarging to have always a university that fits right for your students, the degree that your students are seeking about. I'm very proud to say that Shorelight today is the #1 provider for the USA. So also very pleased and delighted to be working with MSM Unify, which has been shown a very professional and engaged company that has helped all the students to really get their best outcomes. I will pass now to my colleague Sukriti for her introduction. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Carmen. And thank you, Vinita and the MSM Unify team to have Shorelight on board with your team here, your extended team, I would say. And we are very pleased with how we've been working with MSM for the past year. And it's the turnaround of how the deposits are coming in and how the process has been going on is amazing. And we are very glad, and we are really looking forward to this opportunity to interact with all of you directly and share our inputs on how to better and make it more efficient for all of us to operate in a very cognitive and efficient manner, to have everything in place on time and have our students very happily on board on the campus. I head the North and East India recruitments here in India. And I look at the student recruitment for MSM specifically. So any queries in terms of their offer letters, in terms of their I-20s, in terms of their documentation, in terms of help with the university product trainings, anything. So I am your go-to person through MSM, of course. So feel free to reach out to me. We have Sakshi Bhatia also on the call with us today, and she manages the enrollment services for Shorelight for MSM. She will be taking us through the entire process of how enrollment services functions and how you all can actually benefit from this in the best of ways. She will be helping you understand the deadlines, the timelines, the documentation requirements for I-20 and for speeding up the visa process also for students. So I'll hand it over to Sakshi now. She is sharing her screen already. Great. So Sakshi, over to you. Let's take this ahead.
Thank you so much, Sukriti and Kaman, and definitely MSM Unify to have us here. And we are glad to be a part of this session. I hope everyone would be able to enjoy this session because I'll be sharing a couple of information with you. So, firstly, a brief introduction. My name is Sakshi Bhatia, and I'm the Enrollment Services Manager for South Asia, India specific, and your account is with me for all the enrollment services updates. So if you need any assistance, you can contact through MSM, and then I'll be here to support you anyways. I hope everyone is able to see my screen. I think Sukriti already covered that.
Yes.
Okay, so today what I'll be covering is about the enrollment services overview, that how we operate, and how beneficial it is for all, the agents and the students to get benefit from us. Documents for I-20 form, just a brief, maybe a catalog of, documents that we need to submit to our campus team to get the I-20 form. Visa success, talking about the visa success, how it's important for, couple of visa tips when the student should apply and what are the things that can help the student to have a higher visa success rate. Mock visa interview and the pre-arrival steps and orientation. So here you can see all these bullet points highlighted in the 5 points. We are responsible for all these tasks when it comes to the student's profile and the student's enrollment with our university. In region enrollment services, key responsibility areas. So what we basically do here, just a second. Okay. So firstly, engage and cultivate relationship with our students early in the admission cycle. So what we aim to get in touch with the students, at the early stage, because then that way we will be able to assist the student the better ways, because getting the I-20 on time, going to the visa, everything should be completed on time. So that's why we always aim to get, engage with the students at the early stage of their admission cycle. And just brief how we basically get in touch. Later we get into the presentation more. Guide students to help them.
1 second, Sakshi. Before we go ahead, any queries or questions you have, please, we have a Q&A session post completion of the presentation. So yes, we have a dedicated time for it. So please, I would recommend you can write down your questions in the chat box or in the Q&A box, and we will be addressing it post presentation. Thank you very much. Sorry for interruption.
No worries, Vinita. I think I was about to cover this, but good, you covered already. Thank you. Okay, so and guide students to help them to get the I-20 issuance. Obviously, we are helping the students to complete their I-20 documents to get them to the I-20 stage and then after to the visa stage. Ensure visa success, visa preparation workshops and track visa consular interviews. It's very important for us to know when the student is scheduling their appointments so that we can do their visa preparation, doing a couple of mock sessions, engage them in our, university webinar so that they can be easily able to get their visas done. Guide students with the university documentation required pre-arrival. So for all of our partners, we need to complete the pre-arrival task. So once the visa is done, we ensure the students should complete their pre-arrivals in order to have our, students smooth enrollment at the partner universities. Provide information and answers any questions relating to university life, for example, housing, meals, plans, arrival, orientation, etc. and etc. So anything related to the pre-arrivals, they can always reach out to us, for the support that they need. Prepare students for arrival and orientation and help set their expectations. Last but not the least, pre-departure events and webinars, wherein we cover all the pre-arrival steps that all students should be aware before they depart from their home country. Moving to the next slide. What happened? 1 second. Sorry, my system. Okay, enrollment services interaction. So how basically we interact and at what stage we get in touch with the students. So firstly, student files an initial application through the admissions portal. I'm sure MSM would be helping you to do the application process. Once the application is done and the student has reached to the conditional offer stage, which is the COL issued, once it has been issued, the student needs to pay a deposit of $2,000, and which is non-refundable and only refundable in case of visa rejection. So once they pay the deposit, the enrollment services team get in touch directly with the students to ensure that they know the process and help them to complete the process go ahead. Starting with I-20 processing. So we inform the students what all documents we need to process their I-20s, help them to complete the documents. We guide them, what all documents they need, how they need to fill all the 4 documents and everything. And we then track the I-20 with the university partners as well. Once the documents and everything are completed. I-20 issued, and once everything is done, I-20 is issued, we do the visa preparation and then the pre-arrival and then the university enrollment. Deposit to enrollment. What all documents we need for I-20? I-20 processing documents. First, any outstanding academic transcripts. So if a student has paid the deposit, however, there are certain academic or English scores are required. So we may help, we may ask student to submit those. So that student should get everything submitted and their I-20 should not be impacted with that. Passport copy for sure, if not submitted with the initial application. Passport copy should be an updated one. At times we have seen at the time of application, they're putting the passport copy which is expired or going to be expired in few of the years. So make sure that we are submitting we are making sure with the student that they're submitting the updated passport copy. Valid bank statement must indicate the bank account type. So these are the documents which I believe students should be well aware, so that we should be avoiding any back and forth from the campus to reduce the timeline of the I-20. That's it. So valid bank statement, meaning that we need to have a bank statement submitted, bank certificate, I would say, in which students 1 year living plus tuition and the miscellaneous, etc., should be listed in their bank certificate. And the bank statement should be listing the type of account that the student has. Student can have multiple sponsors, either 1, either 2, either 3, no matter, but a valid bank statement should be there. F1 certification of finance form, which should be of current year. You can always check at the top of the form that which year form is it, and we have to make sure that it's an updated one, which is of the current year. Housing preference form to be submitted online. In the offer letters, all these checklist items are already being listed in the COL of the students that gone to the students. So housing preference form in the COL only, we have provided all the housing form to the students for all our partners. They just need to go online and then submit it, just a one go application kind of. But even for undergraduate or graduate, it's mandatory for all of them to fill this housing preference form. Without filling this form, we won't be able to process the file further for the I-20. So make sure the housing preference form, no matter if it's undergraduate or graduate. The one thing I wanted to cover here for graduate, it's only University of Dayton Global that we have that is required mandatory housing even for the graduate students. Not all of the partners are doing that, but yeah, for graduate University of Dayton Global, we need the mandatory housing. And for undergraduate, all the students are required to live on campus at least for a year, that is 2 semesters. We cannot provide any housing waiver to any of the student unless we have a special case that we need to get the approval from the campus again. I-20 request form. This is a form again, a 2-page form, which student needs to fill in, which requires the student personal details, the address, the student personal details, etc., etc. That's it. All these forms would be available on the admissions portal, so that you can just download. All these forms get updated, at the end of each intake. So you just download the form and then send it to the student, get it submitted on the admissions portal itself, so that admissions would be able to review the documents and provide you the feedback on the documents. So on the admissions portal, you'll be able to see 3 of the updates, which is completed. That means the document that the checklist item would get green marked. That means there is nothing required for this document. That means the document has been fully accepted. Second, the admissions updated in progress, that turns to yellow. That means the document is still under review by the admissions. Okay. Maybe if you have uploaded a document, let's say today, so let's give 24 to 48 hours for the admissions to look around. Just a 24 that we are giving, but they are pretty quick. We get the update on the very same day, and if it gets red, that means it is rejected. Okay. Once it is rejected, that means we have to get a new document requested as per the admissions requirement from the students. So you can always ask your students, or the counselors can check through the admissions portal, because in the external description in the portal, if you will be seeing, the reason will always be there of rejecting that document, that why this document has been rejected, and then we have to fulfill that requirement. That's it. And if you are unclear that what is needed or what you need, we also have a chat option available through the admissions portal, in which you can directly contact the admissions owner to check what is the requirement, or else you have me, Sukriti, to reach out for any particular requirement that you are not able to understand, or student is not getting it. So this was the checklist about the I-20 processing documents. Once all these documents are submitted, the file will go with the under processing. But I would always appreciate for the counselors to always look for the checklist items on the admissions portal. All of them should get completed to get the file under processing. If any one of them is missing, then the file is not being sent. So just make sure that we are checking the checklist items very carefully. I-20 issuance and visa preparation. Track the progress of the I-20 to ensure that there are no delays. We personally, the enrollment services team, track to see the progress of the I-20, how much time it's gonna take or something. So if there are any delays, just let us know, because we are already been tracking it. But if you see any delays, just let us know so that we can follow up with the campus team. Coordinate on visa preparation, scheduling mock visa interview. So as soon as the I-20s are issued, we get in touch with the student to get prepare for the mock visa interview, get their visa dates and everything. That visa dates follow-up starts, and then accordingly the mock visa interviews are scheduled. Talking about the pre-arrival, so it's important for all the students to arrive on move-in date for orientation. Any student who needs any late arrival or anything, it's only on the approval basis. We cannot approve, late arrivals or anything. It's very difficult, trust me. So make sure the students have this information, well in advance, that they need to move in, that they need to report the campus on the orientation day itself, which has been listed on the university websites. So, and other thing, move in on date. And another important part of the students to pay their tuition insurance. And if the student has opted for the living, they all have to pay their fees well in advance before the deadline. All the students, once their I-20s are out, they get a statement of fees issued. It is available on the portal. So if a student says that I have not received it, you can always go to the admissions portal, download it and send it across. Or else you can always reach out to us if you are not able to see any of the statement of fees there. So all the students need to pay their tuition, all the fees that are listed on the statement of fees before the deadline, because for this intake, for the fall moving ahead, the I-20s will start deactivated if the students are not paying, not fall, I would say, it has started for summer already. So if a students are not paying, the I-20s will get deactivated if they fail to pay their tuition or, the balance that are due on them. So make sure we are informing the students, the enrollment services also inform the students to pay their fees by the deadline or before the deadline. Okay. Along with that, we have a couple of forms like FERPA form and the math evaluation, math placement test, English placement test, etc., and that only applicable to the undergraduate students. So we can do that case by case once we are speaking to the student, either graduate or undergraduate. Talking about the visa success. So for visa success, we have a couple of tips here that we always advise our students to get to the early windows visa so that they'll be able to secure their visa in a good time. Apply early, obviously. We always suggest them to apply early. Fall intake, apply in April, May, June. We don't want them to, get to the last window maybe on July or August, because most of our move-in dates are in August for fall intake. So we make sure we need to have all the students complete their visas maximum by June. So fall intake, apply in April, May, or June. Spring intake, we encourage them to apply visas in September, October, or early November. And then summer intake, February, March, or early April. So these are the three major intakes that we have, and that is why we always suggest our students to apply for visa on time. Get prepared. Why it's important for students to appear for the mock visa interview? Because that time we personally observe the student's profile. We guide them that what all things they need to be prepared when they are going for the visa interview. So, and always covering about the pathway program I-20, documents, statement of fees, etc., about the documents part. Documents, original financial documents, proof of income, etc. So all these documents information are being provided to the students, once they are done with the visa appointment bookings. EP campaign, this is not for valid for this intake, so I won't be covering this. And moving ahead with this mock visa interview session with assigned ES. How we basically connect, we're either by Skype, WhatsApp. Now we have WhatsApp also, WhatsApp video call. It's not only one session we do. We prefer to do around 3 or 4, depending on the student's profile. May student need, some of students may need only 2 sessions, or some of them may need, more than 4 as well. So, but how many they are, how much the session would be required, we always prefer to do at least 1 or 2 video calls, so that we would be able to see the students how well prepared they are. So we inform the students that be on the video call either by Skype, WhatsApp, or Zoom, anything. As early as possible, no need to wait for I-20. Obviously, it's not that we should be waiting for the I-20. We can start the mock visa interview as early as possible. And each mock visa interview session is different. Like I said, it's not only one session that we schedule. We plan to do a couple of sessions in which we put it like with different sessions, we will be providing different information to the students so that they should be all set before they appear for their visa interview. Now, talking about the mock visa interview, what all things we cover and what we suggest to all the students. Firstly, genuine student, seeing that the student is genuine, observing their financial situation, and the third, ties to their home country. So these are the main points that we always guide students to focus on their answers when they are appearing for the visa interview. Discover red flags, previous US travel history in the family, education gaps, dependence, etc., etc. So this is how we would be able to discover red flags when we are speaking, so that we can prepare the student accordingly, and then moving ahead, they'll be able to set in for their visa interview. Review I-20, statement of fees, bank statements, other documents. Always, we prefer to see all the documents personally from the students, to see they're valid, they're up to the mark, and they're all set to go for the visa interview. Now, Q&A session. What questions we put to the students when we are speaking to them for their mock visa interview? Why did you choose USA as your study destination? How many universities did you apply to? Why any university which we are preparing the student for? Why do you want to study this major, this course? What have you been doing since graduating from your high school, university? Who is your sponsor? What do your parents do? What is AAP? The pathway basically. If they are getting this question, so we can always tell them that what have they been doing. Your English is great. Why do you need a pathway program? So, for pathway, students generally do ask about this question that why are you going for this pathway? And for pathway students, we focus on that category for sure, that why this program is being offered, how this program is going to be benefit the student. So all these points are being taken care once once we are doing the mock session with students. Did you take SAT or IELTS? Any examination? Do you have relatives in US? So all these points are very important when we are speaking to the mock visa interview. And then what are your plans after graduation? So each mock visa interview is different, like I said in the above, right, in the previous slide. Depending on student, case by case, I would say. We are preparing them, we put in these questions to them, get their answers, and then accordingly we provide our feedback to them to ensure that everything is good, everything is fine, and he would be able to enter the visa interview with a great preparation and would be able to get the visa done. Now, pre-arrival steps. Like I said, the I-20 documentation is important. The I-20 process is important. I mean, the visa process. Alongside, the pre-arrival steps are also very important because it will help the student to have a smooth enrollment with our partners. That is why we make sure that the students are well informed about all these steps once we are speaking to them in the early cycle. First, visa copy. Take the visa copy of the students. We take it, right? Either you can send it to us, or maybe we can, students can directly send it to us. Pay full fees 2 weeks prior to arrival. We have already discussed this. It's mandatory for all the students to know well in advance that how much they have to pay, and they need to pay, because I've seen a couple of students, they are not aware that they need to pay. So I personally suggest to all the, to all our agents and the counselors to let them know at the time of application only that you have to pay your fees before your departure from India, from your home country. So that at the time of application, they are aware about the process and should not be making any issues at the time of payment. So please make it sure that the students are very well aware about this process. Immunization form. All the universities have their immunization form that you can always take it from the admissions portal or the university website. Send it to the student, and they directly need to send it to the medical departments, and it is already listed in our university website. FERPA form, consent form for disclosure to parents and guardians, financial sponsors and agents. It's just a one-page form that student needs to fill in and submit back either to us or the admissions portal. Few of the partners have it online. It's a one-page application, but few of them still have the kind of a form that you need to fill and submit back. Complete arrival flight details form, mandatory. Again, tracking the students' arrival information, it's very important to know that, what are their travel plans? When are they, landing to US? And we do provide airport pickup facilities to all the students. No partner, it's not about the partners. All our partners are providing airport pickup to all our students who are coming to US for their, education. We have an arrival form in which the student needs to put in their flight tickets in order to track and arrange the airport pickup. It's free of cost. We are not charging anything. And that is why the student can get the best of the benefit of it. If they are submitting the arrival form before, I think 2 weeks prior to their arrival, I believe, so that they can have a smooth arrangement of the airport pickup done. Okay. And then they can just put in their drop-off location. The team would be there at the airport welcoming them. And then, we have a drop-off location already entered there, and they will be able to, provide that pickup to them. Math placement test, undergraduate students, UCF, UIC, USC, AMU. So for maths placement or English tests are only for the undergraduate students, not the graduate students. But yeah, we do have our university microsite links that you can always refer to check the pre-arrival process for all the partners. And we do the pre-arrival webinars as well, in which all the pre-arrival tasks are being discussed by the campus only. So students are, all students get the direct invitation from the campus, and then they'll be able to join the pre-arrival webinar to get the best of the information they would need. And since I'm discussing about the emailing and everything, I just want to clarify or just to put a special note here. Whenever you are putting an application or a student is here, to file an application, just, double sure that we are putting the correct contact details, because this way we would be able to connect with the student without any hassle. The student contact number, the student email address, it's very important, because if it's wrong, it's not only us, the enrollment services team is contacting the student, it's the campus team also who is been sending the emails. And if the email is not correct, the students would not be able to see any updates from the campus. So just make sure that we are putting the correct email ID and the student contact number on the application report. And along with that, I think there is a section for the emergency contact details as well, in which they need to put in the details either of their father, mother, any guardian, apart from the student's contact and the email. Please put that as well, because we have seen, quite delays in the I-20 processing, because specifically if I talk about CSU, they need these mandatory details to be updated. Without this, they will not be processing the I-20s. So for all the students, it's not only CSU, I would say, it's for all the partners, just put in the emergency details as well, any alternate email or the phone number of the student that can be reached out at the time of emergency. And then set up a university student account or submit ID photo, etc. This is the last step for the pre-arrivals, and the student should be able to do the enrollment process. Okay, thank you. Sorry. I'm happy to address any questions, any feedback, any suggestions. So please feel free to reach out to us for any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sakshi. You simplified so much information so, briefly, and it was explained in very, very beautifully and very simplified version. So yes, I do have some questions for you. 1 second. So how much time does I-20 is issued in? How much time does the I-20 take? I think
so. Every partner has a different timeline to issue the I-20s. So if I talk about the early ones, which are giving the I-20s in a week time, that would be UIC, UOP, Utah, the most popular ones. And for CSU specific, if you have the highest numbers, the processing time is around 15 business days. So for CSU, the process is slightly different. It's once the I-20 file is completed, then only the day starts. Okay, once you see everything, like I said, the checklist item you always need to refer to. So just refer to the checklist item. If everything is submitted on time, the 10 days count starts from then, right? Because sometimes students miss to submit any document and the file is not completed. We won't be issuing the I-20s because eventually the file is not being sent to the campus. It's once all documents are completed and then the count starts. So it's 10 days for the FOL, which is the full offer letter, and then another 5 business days for the I-20. So in total, it's 15 business days for Cleveland State.
Okay. I hope your question has been answered. Okay, so I have one more question. What is the minimum band for I-20?
The bank requirement, I would suggest, because it keeps on changing every intake with the intake or the year change. I would always suggest team to refer to the certification of finance form.
Yeah. Sorry, but Sakshi, I think she's asking about the IELTS band requirement.
Sorry, I heard bank statement.
No, not band. Band score of for minimum band score for I-20.
Okay, I think I'll take up that question. So if you're asking about the IELTS band requirement, so most of our university partner require an overall of 6.5 and score not less than 6 in each of the sections of IELTS. Of course, we accept the other English proficiency test scores as well, such as Duolingo, TOEFL, ITEP. All right. You can always check on the entry requirements with MSM, and the team can help you through the checklist and the other updates that are available on the application portal for universities. So what happened this year was that some universities that were accepting Duolingo until last year, they stopped accepting it now. So the MSM team can always update you as to which universities are not accepting Duolingo, but otherwise the IELTS requirements stays standard for all. As Sakshi was earlier talking about the academic accelerator program and the other pathway courses. So sometimes in case a student does not have the required score of a 6.5, and suppose if they have an overall of 6, and the section wise scores are also slightly lesser, then the students do get an option to opt for a pathway program where they're required to take up additional courses when they go on campus. So the fee structure and the duration of the program would differ in that case, and all these details will be present in the conditional offer letter. Once you receive the conditional offer letter, for which the English proficiency test score is required, after that you start processing your I-20 once you've paid the acceptance deposit. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much. So I have Parul asking, what is CSU?
It's Cleveland State University.
Okay.
So Sakshi just shared an example of Cleveland. She mentioned Cleveland State University as an example to tell you about what are the tentative timelines for the I-20 to be issued. Shorelight has multiple other university partners, and the timeline for I-20 issuance for these vary. But so she was just talking about, so Shorelight basically has signature universities as well as member university partners, and the timelines for both of these for offer release as well as I-20 release varies.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sukriti. So I have Sparsh Arora asking that what if a person is having gap of 10 years in his studies, but he has a valid work experience. So what are the chances for the person to get a visa, and what are the chances of his admission in USA?
So as far as the offer letter is concerned, of course, we can assess the academics, and unless there are no educational gaps, then we and the credentials otherwise in terms of his undergrad, etc., they look good enough, then surely the offer should not be an issue. But we will of course assess the application first. Sakshi, maybe you could talk about the visa probability for such a case.
I think for the student, we need to know a couple of things. Maybe we need to analyze the profile. Like Sukriti said, we can take up the application, and I-20s can be processed accordingly. But yeah, for the visa, we need to analyze the profile, understanding about the student background and everything, and then we'll be able to assist.
Maybe you can go ahead with the submission of the application with all the documents required, and we can help you with this.
Absolutely. And then the assessment can be done, and accordingly we can suggest. Great. Thank you so much, Sukriti. So we have one more question here. So after getting I-20, there are times when students are struggling to get the appointment. Is there any solution for this problem?
Right now, see, it's completely the embassy discretion about opening the visa appointments, and we have seen this challenge. From past few intakes, we have been seeing this. However, we provide our extra support in a matter of scheduling group appointments with the students. So, we get in touch with the embassy. Let's say, for example, either Mumbai or Hyderabad, any one of them, to schedule group appointments, but that too again on the approval basis, in which we get one university group attending the visa interview on the same day. This is the extra support that we provide, but again it's on the approval basis. We try to do our best, and once it is approved, we would be able to assist the students in a better way.
So we, just to add on, we actually reach out to the students on a personal level. We try to find out from them if they filled their DS-160s and if they've booked a visa appointment. If they've not been able to get it, then what is the preferred location for them where they would actually like to, what is feasible for them to go and attend the visa. And suppose there are, considerable number of students, say in the location of Hyderabad, then we try to arrange for group visa appointments. That's the additional support from Shorelight, which we, of course, will be extending it to the MSM students also. Otherwise, if your question was around that if the I-20 is issued to get the visa appointment any which way,
Yeah.
then of course the best way to go about it is that you defer it to the next intake, so that the deposit also gets transferred and the student does have that much time, that bandwidth in hand to actually book the visa appointment for the upcoming intake.
Thank you so much, Sukriti.
Sure.
We have one more question from Parul. Do TOEFL and IELTS have equal acceptance in all universities?
If you mean that if they are accepted by all partners, then yes, they are both these scores are accepted by all the university partners.
Okay. And what is the minimum score for TOEFLs?
Depending upon the course program again, so we can
Okay.
let you know specifically to that, because that would also vary with each university, with each program that the student applies for, whether it is postgrad, whether it is undergrad. So the requirements vary, but it is very much acceptable. So if you can maybe put in a query as to what university in the course program the student is interested for, we can let you know what is the requirement.
Okay. One more question here from Kiran. Is there any options available in which without a English proficiency test, they can get admission?
No, unfortunately not, because an English proficiency test is a mandatory requirement. But then we, since the best part about Shorelight is that all our university partners, they have the pathway programs available. The accelerator programs is what we call it. So any student who does not meet the minimum entry requirement of the score that is required, if he has a lesser score of say 5.56 also, with lesser bands, the section requirements also that are lesser, so they should definitely make an application. They should get it assessed, because the accelerator courses are available at both the undergrad as well as postgrad levels. So the students will have an opportunity to get the admission. And we, as I said, we also accept the other proficiency tests available. So ITEP is a very popular one and it's free of charge, and Shorelight does help the students to take ITEP as well. So encourage your students to retake another English test. If they do not want to again pay for IELTS or TOEFL and sit for those, so they should give it a shot.
Okay, sure. So thank you so much, Sukriti, for answering that. One more question I have. Do we accept visa rejection cases as well, Sukriti? If somebody's visa has been rejected previously, is there a possibility that person can apply again and get through some other college and university?
Sure. So we will be assessing the profile. We do not put an outright, distinction on such cases, because we will be evaluating the academic credentials. With US, we do not really know why the visa rejection took place. So happy to assess such cases. Sure.
Okay. And could you give us some tips wherein your visa rejection, you can avoid your visa rejection? Some of the major causes of visa rejection. I'm sure it was explained very well, but some major pointers.
I think Sakshi would be the best one to take this ahead, because we also, she did share a lot of pointers on how the mock visa interviews are taking place. So I think you could take those notes back. But Sakshi, anything additional that you want to add?
Rightly said, Sukriti, we don't know actually why the US visa has been rejected. It's only under the category of 214B. All students who have been rejected, they get this 214B slip. However, what we suggest to the students when they are, appearing for the visa interview, just get this information that what they have been asked for, right? And then if the visa is rejected, we can analyze, we can speak to the student that, sometimes I'll just give you some examples, maybe might help. Sometimes the students are not well communicated, right? Sometimes the documents are not up to the mark, right? So it's always case by case. We do not have a specific reason that why the, visa gets rejected. And either, the student is well prepared, you see a good student getting rejection. That is again, we have seen sometimes. So
could
again,
be because of finances also sometimes, that their finances are not presented properly.
Exactly, that, maybe could be any reason. But for that, we always suggest, to do the mock session, the multiple interviews with the students in order to make sure that they are well prepared and, should be able to get the visa done.
Okay, thank you so much, Sakshi. So we have one more question coming. So have there been any changes in the visa process post-pandemic, specifically related to pandemic and COVID? Are there any changes? in the process?
There are no changes as such. It's it's same. Student needs to fill in their DS 160. Once the I-20 is out, the first step is to fill in the DS 160 form, and then pay the visa fee, which is of $160. And then student needs to log in and look for the appointments, schedule an appointment, and make sure that they're paying their service fee as well, which is of $350, which is apart from the visa fee. So the process has not changed. But yeah, I have an update, from the embassy. It's like visa Dropbox that we have, in which there are students, if they have got any category visa approved, initially before applying for the student visa, either travel visa or any visa, work visa, anything. If they have got it approved previously, they might not be able to. They are not required to appear for the interview. The interview will get waived off. The embassy will ask them to provide certain documents, as case by case, and then they will review the file, and they will give the decision to the students. So this way they won't be needing to appear for a visa interview specifically. So this is what the change we have right now.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sakshi. And the final question is, once the visa is rejected, how long the person needs to wait before reapplication? So,
the application, yeah.
No worries. So, Sukriti, if you want, you can take it.
No, go ahead, Sakshi.
So for visa rejection, either we suggest students to at least do 2 attempts, to see the outcome. And if it's still not getting approved, the student is eligible for refund in that case. But for that, the student needs to apply for the refund within 60 business days from the program start date. So just make sure that we are informing the student that the deadline needs to be followed. Otherwise, the refund request may get declined if they're submitting the refund request after the deadline. And talking about the application, how student can apply, it depends on the availability nowadays. Because before pandemic, I would say we were allowing students to at least wait for 15-20 days to reapply for the visa. But this time we know that the appointments are a biggest challenge. So whenever student gets an appointment, the other appointment, I would say that they can go ahead with that.
And also, in case a student defers, suppose he gets a rejection, but then he defers his admit to the next intake. Okay, during this process, if he then asks for a refund, then that's a problem because the student is already deferred, right? So that means that he's interested for the next intake. So in that case, we do not entertain the refunds.
That's correct. So just reiterating again, the 60 business days deadline post move-in. So this is the refund deadline. Let the students know so that they should not be, reaching out to us, and getting, impacted with the refunds.
Sure. And actually, will it be possible for you to share the PPT with us and agents, because it is very, very informative and everything is given very briefly and in detail. So if it's possible, we
can email it to you. Yeah, after the session, we can definitely provide it to you.
Absolutely. So it was a wonderful, very, very informative session. Carmen, would you like to say something before we conclude?
Thank you. I really want to say thank you to all the participants. And I am thrilled to see the questions, because that's the best outcome for us of this session, to have as many questions as possible and be able to really address the situation. I hope after this presentation, additionally, you can see the expertise that we have in every single area. I want to thank my colleagues Sakshi and Sukriti. They're absolutely amazing. They're always on top of absolutely every single detail. And that's what we want to do. When I was saying at the beginning, the signature experience that we can give to our students and all the best support for our partners. So thank you very much to all the participants. And we hope we have given you lots of answers. And at any time, of course, reach out to MSM Unify and they will pass to us all the questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Yes,
Carmen. Vinita, if I could just, take up a couple of minutes.
absolutely.
So I just wish to reiterate to all our partners here, since the fall intake is, very near now, and we do understand that students are facing slight concerns with booking their visa appointments, and we've also seen that a lot of students who had paid the deposit for the summer intake, but they could not, go on campus either because of delayed I-20 processing or no visa dates availability, and who have now deferred for fall. So for this entire chunk of students, we really want to be on track. So I would really encourage everybody here, please keep a track of the students who've paid the deposits. They're huge in numbers. Make sure that all their I-20 documents are submitted on time. In case there are any concerns around the certification of finance form, I-20 request form, the bank letters or statements that you're submitting, you need some sample bank letters from us, or you need any help with filling these forms also. So we are definitely available. Please pass on all your queries to the MSM team well on time. Ensure that as soon as the student pays the deposit, he has the I-20 documents also ready, within the next few days, so that we have everything on track. I just wanted to reiterate this because we've been experiencing slight concerns in this area where, students have confirmed their admission, but unfortunately, they've not been able to go on campus. So let's, work on this together. If you wish, each one of you from the sub-agency team, if you would like, you could, make a list of the confirmed students, share it with the MSM team. They can pass it on to us. Sakshi and I can work on these lists together, let you know what are the pending documents. The deadlines have been shared with the team already. There are priority deadlines that we are working on. At this moment, tomorrow, that is May 11th, is the deadline for any new deposits coming in for most of the universities. And May, I believe, 16th, if I'm not wrong, is the deadline for all the I-20 documents to be submitted. So please adhere to these. If you have your students submit all of these basis on the priority deadlines, I'm definitely sure their I-20s will be issued on time and we'll see everybody on campus. So look forward to your support on this.
Absolutely.
Just few points I would like to highlight here about the I-20 documents as well. Like Sukriti said, it's and I covered in the presentation as well that please have the students' documents ready when they are paying the deposit, so that they can save the future time, I would say. And for the I-20s, May 15th is the priority deadline for all the students. The summer deferrals or the fall new deposits. May 15th is a priority deadline. So just aim to complete all the documents as early as possible. And observe the admissions portal very carefully, continuously, to see the continuous updates, because we have a great admissions team, who are super quick in reviewing the documents, and they're providing the updates on the admissions portal. So even if maybe due to some other task, Sukriti or me are not available, the admissions portal is always there, for you 24/7 to see what is the update, what is the recent update that you need to do for that student. So the request is to be proactive with the admissions portal updates. And if you need any assistance with that, just let us know. Again, we are here to support. And thanks for all the things that you do. And we look forward for a great fall intake with all of you together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. On behalf of MSM Unify, I would like to thank Carmen, Sukriti, and Sakshi for your valuable time and valuable information which you gave it to us, because apparently, yes, there are lots of concerns which, on day-to-day basis, agents, we do get. And thank you so much for giving all the information in detail and in very, very simplified version. And last but not the least, I would like to thank entire Shorelight team and everyone to removing time out of your busy schedules and being part of our webinar. It is wonderful to have all of you today with us, and I'm sure that whatever time you have spent today, it is going to be very, very fruitful. And of course, we all are always there. MSM Unify is there. Shorelight is there. You can always contact us. We have admission teams. They are there to help you. And yes, thank you so much for all the time and your patience. Goodbye and have a wonderful day. Hope you all will have a wonderful, day ahead, and take care.
Thank you. Thanks,
Bye.
Vanita. Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day and a week ahead.